Collie, Western Australia. Good to be with you. Just get my other bits set up here. It's been such a busy week. We have had puppies this week. It's very, very exciting. We breed schnoodles and schnauzers. So I have some 6 little gorgeous babies, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today I want to share about the heart healing journey. That's the thing that's really on my heart. That's the thing that I want to share with anyone who wants to listen. So I am founder and creator of Redemption Mamas, and I'm just going to flick back here. Sorry, we're getting set up. And this is a space that I've been so blessed to be able to work with women now for several decades in the heart healing space. So each Friday in the Southern Hemisphere, Thursday evening in the Northern Hemisphere, been jumping on now for several months just to share a quick workshop to help pique your interest and get you curious about what is heart healing. People say, oh, do you have a degree? Do you have a certificate? And I tell you what, if I could, I would. But to date, I haven't come across a university or any educational place that would actually facilitate something like that. But I do have a Master's of Education, so I'm a curious learner and I love to teach and I love to be able to encourage and exhort people to not be happy with the status quo of their life, particularly if the status quo is not a very good status. And for me, that was the case. I had come to my 40s and a lot of things started to unravel. My marriage, my mental health, my physical health, these things started to unravel in a way that was very concerning for me, and I honestly had no idea what to do about it. So I did the usual route. I went down the route of counselors, therapists, psychologists, and while that helped me a little bit, I was still just struggling massively to be able to stay balanced, to stay functioning as a mum of 5 kids. It was really a big challenge in those few years of my life, maybe between 40 to 50. Once I was 45, I was so grateful to find a little group of women that were pursuing similar to me in that they weren't content with the status quo. They weren't happy to stay in that place of chaos and pain and frustration. And particularly for us, we were beginning to become aware that our children were being impacted. You know, there were opportunities that they were getting robbed of. There was health and sickness issues. There was mental health issues for them as well. And so that was a strong motivator for this group. There was 3 or 4 of us that we were motivated to be able to dive in and go, what is going on? Why can't we work things out? Why are we not like our mothers that we can just suck it up and keep going and ignore everything around us that was what looked like the strategy, particularly in my situation with my mum? So I began a journey of pursuing heart healing. Pursuing heart healing was not something I understood or actually had language for at the time. It was just my heart was broken. My heart was hurt. My heart was wounded. And I knew that there was something on the inside of me that needed support, needed help, and needed healing. And so when I connected the dots that it was my heart, I needed heart healing, that is where the language for this started out for me, and now I hear it around the place a lot. I hear that phrase and that word, and so it's becoming something that is understood more and more accepted, even by the medical. So you go to the doctor and you're not feeling well, or you're feeling flat, or you're depressed. What he has or she has in her toolkit is medication. And they can give you something that might make you feel better. But then when you don't have that, or you don't have that to depend on, you don't feel better at all. So it's not actually a process of healing or facilitating health and well-being, but it does put a cap on whatever might be manifesting or presenting for you in your life. And so for me, I did need to go on antidepressants. I was not coping well at all. And in that period of time, I was able to come to balance. But what I realized was if I go off these, then I'm going to do that same cycle, that same route all over again. And I did not want that. And so pursuing heart healing became the thing that I was looking at above everything else. Pursuing means getting active, being ongoing. Don't just, have a little dabble and then put your foot in the water and take it out and go find something else. Pursuing means going and showing up and turning up, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, even when you'd rather be doing something completely different. The answers don't come overnight in this heart healing journey, but they do come. They do come in really dynamic, powerful ways, and that's been my experience. So today I want to share with you about pursuing wholeness, staying the course, living from a healed and whole heart, living from the inside out, in a healed and whole way. Heart healing takes pressing in. It takes being diligent and choosing to lean on what? Well, I lean on God through prayer, through worship, through journaling, and honest conversations with Him. I like the woman in the crowd who was in the crowd when Jesus was speaking, and she pressed in and she was not going to go until she had touched the hem of his garment. She wanted to touch Jesus. And in that, she believed that even in his presence, even being in his presence, there would be healing and bring her wholeness. And she was right. That is definitely the result, the end result that happened in her journey and her story. You can read about it in the Bible, in Mark chapter 5. So pressing in, heart healing takes pressing in. It takes leaning on God. When we depend on ourselves, we can go so far. But I had learnt that I could not go any further. I felt like I had done everything I could to do what I could do in my own strength, in my own wisdom, in my own insight and understanding. But it just hadn't been enough. And so what I had to learn was to lean on God, to lean on a source outside of myself. I had been with friends and we had supported each other, but without that ultimate divine higher presence in our life, there's my dogs, without that, I wouldn't have been able to fix myself. I needed that outside help. Then pursuing wholeness really takes seeking, not just relief from the pain, but going further and pressing on into the restoration part, the part that brings the restoration and the transformation. So pursuit is both hunger and surrender. It's hunger to press in and to not quit and not give up, and a willingness to surrender, especially if we need to say, I don't have all the answers. I don't actually know what I need to do now. And in that journey of hunger and surrender, we can pursue a journey of wholeness that will bring us into freedom, bring us into an ability to be able to walk in freedom. Now, that's been my story and that's been my journey. And for that, I'm so, so, so grateful. It's been incredible. When we start pressing in and pursuing this heart healing journey, we will realize that healing is ongoing. Healing isn't just a one-off, one moment in time thing, but it is something that takes consistency, Consistency really, truly matters. We have to build rhythms on the journey, rhythms to do some things differently that maybe we haven't done before, some new strategies, some new plans, some new tools that will enable us to stay consistent. Prayer, community. Community is a big one, being able to stay in community and walk with others that are doing a similar thing. Then just taking time to create space for your own heart in reflection and rest. Pursuing wholeness means staying close to God long term. It's not a 5 minute, okay, we're here, let's fix this thing and then I'm off to. It's a relationship that is so precious and sweet and beautiful that God can actually be your best friend. And for me now, I call him Papa G, because I have come to have a relationship with him that is like a father-daughter relationship. It's even better than my own father, who, while I loved dearly and he loved me too, he was not emotionally aware. He was not brought up in a generation where being emotionally aware was even a thing. But in that process of me hungering and desiring to have a relationship that would be healthy and supportive and emotionally strong, I decided to start calling God Papa G, because I wanted to give him a name that was a little bit more than just God. God kind of sounded a little bit sterile. So for me, he's Papa G. When we're pursuing wholeness and choosing to stay the course, what results from that is walking in freedom. Can I just repeat that to you again? Walking in freedom. Walking in freedom enables us to be so authentic and walk from a place of courage and boldness. It doesn't mean walking with no problems, walking never experiencing a difficult moment in our lives again. But it's walking in the freedom of knowing when we encounter those difficult times, when we encounter those struggles and trials, we don't have to get stuck there. We don't have to get trapped there. We don't have to get bound up with all of the chaos and the pain and the wounds and the words that we might have been trying to navigate our way through. We walk in freedom because we learn to create boundaries that are healthy and strong. We learn to be a whole lot more clear about who we are and what our heart's desiring, instead of trying to please everybody else and meet the needs of everybody else. We can be clear to set our boundaries and say, actually, right now my heart needs this, and you may be not a person that I need to walk with right now that is going to enable my heart to find and be strong in what I believe I'm called to be. So sometimes relationships will have to change. Sometimes friendships are not going to continue to run like they did in the past, because you're stepping out of a friendship that may have been codependent. You're stepping out of a place where your friends may be using you and not actually enabling you to be who you truly, authentically, genuinely are. So living from a healed heart, when you've pursued that journey, when you step into living from a healed heart, then you're going to walk in a freedom that you have not experienced before. And that was my experience. The freedom I found was in my health, in my emotional and my mental health, and in my relationships, because I started to learn to set some clear boundaries, to be very clear about not what I needed, but more about what my heart needed in that heart healing journey space. When you pursue heart healing, you start to see beautiful things emerge. You start to see really incredible fruit come from that journey. Your healing means that you start living from the inside out, not reacting to all of these things that are happening on the outside, but living from the inside out. So try and imagine what that would look like. If all of these things are still happening on the outside, things are triggering you, people are unkind, people whatever, if these things are happening, how do you live in a way from the inside out that overcomes, that actually can ignore some of these things that are going on the outside? I'm not suggesting don't acknowledge them and don't be aware of them. But I know that when those things happen to me now, I have a very different trajectory of how I walk my way out of that, how I walk my way out of the frustrations of it, out of the confusion, out of the chaos of it, and I can stay in peace. Momentarily, there might be this angst and this feeling of unsettlement and feeling of not knowing quite what to do. But I have the tools and I have the strategies now to be able to create space for my heart, create space for the person that maybe I'm engaging with in the situation that might be coming up against me, causing me grief, causing me pain, causing me frustration. When you pursue wholeness, then you can walk in freedom and peace, which is just living from the inside out, not being affected by all those outside things, but living from the inside out. You know, our healing becomes a blessing, not just to us, but to others. And so that's been the exciting journey for me, that on this walk, on this journey, I've been able to now walk with others, mentor others, and see beautiful things happen in their lives, see incredible changes for them. And that's no credit to me. It's credit to the women that decide to say yes to this heart healing journey. I'm really just holding their hand, walking along, maybe mentioning and whispering an idea or a thought or a bit of guidance. But, you know, I'm just amazed that when women choose this journey, when women choose to pursue healing in their heart, they get so much understanding. They get to see for themselves. They don't need to be told, this is what's going on, this is what's wrong with you. They actually get to see it for themselves. A revelation, a trigger, something, just a light switch, a light bulb moment. It just turns them into an awareness of really what it is that their heart needs. And so when we come to that place of understanding, actually, there's stuff inside of me that needs healing, that needs a touch, that needs me to create some space for it. At first, it can be a bit scary because it it can feel like we dive in and we actually investigate what's going on. I remember I thought I would never be the same again. I'd probably never stop crying. I'd probably never be able to pick my pieces, my broken pieces up and put them back together again. And that's just a lie. It's not true at all. In fact, the more you pursue and the more you go on in the journey, the more I can laugh at that lie now because it's just not true. It's not true. So your heart healing could become a blessing to others. You could actually become someone that is present for other people instead of, like me, just reeling in my own mess and my own chaos and my own struggle and my own pain. I started to find a way through that, through the support of others, through community, through mentoring, having mentoring myself. And even today, I still pursue mentoring. For me, it's really handy to have another set of eyes over your situation because it's easy to get a bit blinkered and a bit blindsided by, you know, the things that can consume you. And sometimes they don't actually, it's hard to sometimes really discern the truth of what's going on. So having somebody outside of that has been wonderful for me, and I pursue that in an ongoing way as well. So this is the truth, that that Jesus came that we could have life and have it abundantly. Life. Life is what I want to pursue with my heart healing journey. Life in my relationships, life in my friendships, life in my marriage, life in my family, life, life, life. And for me, if it doesn't have life on it, I don't want to pursue it. I pursue whatever has life in it, on it. And when I don't, I start to die on the inside myself. And things can create that to happen. Like over the last couple of months, we've moved. We've had family things happening. We've had a grandchild born. I've had puppies in the last week. Not me, but my dog. So, these circumstances in our life when we get busy and when things consume us, they can sometimes cause us to get derailed and to lose our focus. And so for me over the last few months, I've had to go back and use some of these tools in a more intentional and consistent way than I may have in the last year or so. So the tools that I've been able to glean over the years of my mentoring have been incredibly useful and powerful for me, and I know for other women that I've mentored as well. So living from a healed heart is what is going to give you freedom. I noticed the freedom came for me in a number of ways. One was my mental health. I was I was depressed. What do they call it? Different levels. I can't even remember now. It was 20 odd years ago. And in that depression, that state of depression, I was not functioning even well for myself. And so as I started to pursue wholeness in this area of heart healing, I was so encouraged that I didn't have to stay on medication for the rest of my life. In fact, even today now at 65, just had my birthday a week or so ago, I'm so grateful and so thankful that I don't need any medication. I'm not taking any medication because my heart is not just strong emotionally, but it's had a beautiful end result of being strong in other ways, physically as well. I'm so blessed and so grateful to be able to walk that walk. When we bring healing to our heart, issues that are manifesting in our body are often stemming from the heart. I had some voice issues in my mid 40s. I was not able to talk well. I would choke and then I would cough and splutter because I just couldn't talk. Something was catching in my throat. And when I went to the doctor, I think barium swallow was one of the tests, but a number of different tests, and they all came back negative. They're saying there's nothing wrong with you. And yet the reality was there was something wrong with me. As I pursued it from an emotional place, from a place of what is going on in my heart, what needs healing here, that now is not an issue. It's completely healed, and I don't even remember sometimes some of the things that I've experienced really beautiful, precious healing from. There's been numerous times that things have manifested in my body, and now instead of like going straight to the doctor and finding medication for it, now I spend time with my heart and with my Lord and Savior, Jesus, and I sit and I rest and I wait and I wonder, what is the heart issue? Is this a heart issue? So for me to walk in freedom now, if I'm sick or if I feel like I'm getting sick, I will ask the question, is this physical or is this spiritual? Physical from the point of view, maybe I'm just really run down. And over the last 3 or 4 months, it's been a very hectic time with moving and other things that have been happening. So if I get a little tweak, maybe I just need a good rest. But I ask the question, is this physical or is this spiritual? Or maybe it's a bit of both. And when I get that sense that it's spiritual, then I know there's a heart healing issue that's coming to the surface, that's rising up, so that I can pay attention to it and I can go, let's have a little conversation with my heart and with the Holy Spirit about what is going on in that space, in that place. And as I have that conversation with my mentor, with myself, with my Lord, then revelation comes and things come to light. Things that maybe I haven't forgiven, people I haven't forgiven, or maybe situations where I've judged and I've been harsh. So one little issue for me over the last year, maybe, has been a very achy big toe. It just turns up every now and again. And for me, I thought, oh no, don't tell me I'm getting gout. That's what my dad had. And so before I had done the journey I've done, I probably just would have accepted the fact that I've got this issue that, my father had, so I'm going to have it as well. Well, now I don't think like that. I don't actually think on the line of generational sickness. Now I think, all right, what do I need to do? What's going on in my heart that might be causing this to manifest in my body? And so my process started maybe a year or two ago, was to ask the Holy Spirit, what does the big toe represent? What is going on with my big toe? And, big toe is for balance. It gives us strength to be able to really dig in and walk fast. And as I spent some time pursuing what this might represent for me, the word self-righteousness came up, that I was leaning on myself. I was putting myself above others. And so I started to look into the relationships that I had and think, is there any space or place where I'm actually feeling self-righteous, like I'm better than you, I'm better than... And I was quite confronted by some realities that, as I created space for my heart and I sat with my mentor and mentors, I realized I was really judging some people in my life. And so this little issue has come back over the last couple of months or maybe longer, off and on, off and on. And when it comes on, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Where am I judging? Where am I thinking I'm more right than these other people? So I'm not suggesting that every time you have a sore big toe, that's the problem for you. You need to take some time to pursue and see why. What is the issue in my body that's manifesting? What is the issue in my heart that's causing my body to manifest like that? I'm getting knocks at the door quite relentlessly at the moment. I will just pursue my role right now. So sorry for the dogs barking, but yeah. So back to the concept of what is going on in your body. Is there an issue? Is there a health issue that you're struggling with? Because very likely it goes back to a heart issue. So for me, so losing connection, am I? Telling me I've lost connection. I'm gonna just pursue. Pursue is my theme for today, pursuing heart healing. So you can be in health as your soul is in health. This is what this says. You can be in health as your soul is in health. When our soul, our mind, our will, our emotions is healthy and it's flourishing, then we are healthy. Go find a time where you have been sick and you have actually been really strong in your mind, your will, your emotions. They really walk together. They work together. So when I am sick, I ask the question, is this physical or spiritual or both? And if it's physical, like I need to eat better, or I need to rest more, or I need to exercise, I'll attend to that side. But if it's spiritual, then I will spend some time to really dive in, dive deep, and figure out what it is in my heart that needs healing. And so as I do that with my big toe, the pain goes away. As simple as that. It's amazing. And as I allow myself that space and I allow myself that time to lean in and listen to what is going on, what is happening, then I can pay attention to that. I can focus on what needs to change. Maybe I'm believing a lie. Maybe I'm not forgiving. It'll come to you. It'll be revealed to you in a beautiful, dynamic, and powerful way. So, I'm getting knocks on the door, so it's a bit distracting. So one of the things that I have been working with of late is breathing. Breathing has become a really powerful way for me to rest and create space in that heart healing space. The breath is the breath of life. Anything that's to do with life, I'm all over that and I want it. And so breathing has become a wonderful process that I can use to bring healing to myself, bring balance and grounding to myself, to create space between myself and whatever the heart issue may be. And in creating space is a really powerful thing, because then we're not caught up in it. We're not in chaos. And we can nurture ourselves and we can nurture our heart as we create that space. So I want to do some breathing today, which is going to be breathing in for 4 counts and then breathing out for 6. And I thought I should just let you know what I've learned about a bit of this breathing. That breathing out for longer than you breathe in is really beneficial, because it activates what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system. And that promotes relaxation. It reduces stress in our body. It activates the vagus nerve. Longer exhaling stimulates the vagus nerve, which is a key part of the parasympathetic nervous system. It helps to calm you. And as you do this with me today, you'll feel that calming effect. It sends signals to your brain. It sends signals to tell you you're okay. We're reducing some stress. You're bringing calmness to your body. It'll lower your heart rate, which is really a powerful effect to have to reduce stress and bring calm. We know when you're if you're in an accident, or medical people come to support you, they'll say, just breathe deeply, just breathe slowly, slow down your breath. When you're in a fight and flight scenario, you're going to go you're breathing like that. So we want to slow the breath down, but breathing out for longer helps to break some stress cycles. So today I want you to sit comfortably. Find a spot where you can just breathe and not be distracted. And I want you to put your hand on your heart, because today I want to breathe the breath of courage and freedom with you. The breath of courage and freedom to ask, fill me with courage. Fill me with courage so that I can live in freedom. Fill me with courage so that I can pursue a journey that will bring healing and health and well-being and freedom into my life. So we're going to inhale for 4, and we're going to say, fill me with courage. We're asking the divine. We're asking for supernatural strength, a wonderful download. Fill me with courage. And then as we breathe out, for 6, which is longer than our breath in, I'm going to say, and I'd love you to join me, I live in your freedom. So as we do this, we'll repeat it 5 or 6 times. I want you to imagine God's Spirit filling you with boldness and with peace and with courage to consider our heart healing journey. Consider pursuing and staying in pursuit until you see the freedom that your heart truly longs for. So as you breathe in for 4 counts, we're going to say, fill me with courage. So let's breathe in. Fill me with courage. 4. Exhale for 6. I live in your freedom. 4, 5, 6. Breathing in. Fill me with courage. 4. Breathing out. 1, 2. I live in your freedom. 5, 6. Breathing in. Fill me with courage. 3, 4. Breathe out. I live in your freedom. 5, 6. Breathe in through your nose. Fill me with courage. Breathing out. I live in your freedom. 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3. Fill me with courage. Breathe out. I live in your freedom. 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. Fill me with courage. Breathe out. I live in your freedom. 4, 5, 6. And one more time. Breathe in. Fill me with courage. Breathe out. I live in your freedom. 4, 5, 6. God's Spirit wants to fill you with boldness. He wants to fill you with courage. He wants to peace, that your heart you healing from the inside out, and your heart will find peace and freedom and strategies to be able to walk in a powerfully dynamic way that isn't in chaos, that isn't in poor health, but that is in good health, that is strong, and that is free to be all that you've been created to be. If you have time, then do some reflection. Take a few minutes to journal and to ponder and think about, what is it that your heart needs? What is your heart telling you? Find some time, create some space, and that breathing exercise you can do multiple times a day. You can, and it just will help you to and recalibrate and to bring yourself out of that stress cycle into a beautiful, more peaceful place. Well, be blessed. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you again in November.